All right, we're back and we're ready to start turn number 5. We're going to go and start by drawing for our friendly HQ event. And we do not get one. Our commander is still sitting in the staging area, so we will draw for his activation. And here we have 1, -1 for green. Now on activation, there's a minimum number of commands of 1. So the commander is going to go ahead and get activated with 1 command. Flip these over real quick. Okay. He is going to go ahead and activate the third platoon. So he'll use his 1 command to do that. And even though he has 2 commands saved, we're not going to use either of those this turn. Okay, we're going to go ahead and draw for the 3rd Platoon HQ. Now the 3rd Platoon HQ is currently under fire, and that's going to add some modifiers to his draw. So we're going to get a -1 for being green, a +1 for being undercover, so those cancel each other out. But he is under automatic weapons fire VOF, and so that's going to be a -2 on his draw. So that's a net draw of -2. So we'll draw for that. And we draw 2. -2 is going to be a net of 0. Again, a minimum of 1 command. So he's going to get 1 command to use. And what he's going to do with that 1 command, he's going to go ahead and order the 3-3 squad to use the rifle grenade he's been carrying since the start of the game to attack the unit in the farm ahead of him. So that's going to require us to do a grenade attempt, so that's going to be a draw of 2 cards. We have 1 and 2. So we did not get a grenade symbol, so that means we have a grenade miss. So we'll go ahead and place the grenade miss marker on the trenches. Okay. So now we're going to go into the initiative phase, and we'll go ahead and draw for the 1st and 2nd platoons, and we'll go ahead and do them in that order. Okay, so we'll draw first for the 1st platoon. The 1st platoon draws 2 commands, but he's green and currently not in cover, so that's a -1, so he's going to get a single command for 1st platoon. 2nd platoon is also exposed in green, so that's a -1. So we have a 1 -1 is 0. There is no minimum on the initiative draws, so 2nd platoon is actually going to get 0 commands this turn. So 1st platoon isn't going to do all that much this turn. He's going to go ahead and move into the strong building. And he's going to order the 3-1 out of the building. 3-1 is the one carrying the grenade. So 3-1 is going to come out and be exposed. And the 1st platoon HQ is going to end up being exposed and in the building still. So 1st platoon actually used 2 commands on that, the one he was allocated, as well as one of his saved commands to make those 2 events happen. 1st for the move and 2nd for the order to move. Okay, that's the end of the platoon leaders initiative phase. We'll move now on to the staff initiative impulse. And so, again, the 1st sergeant is going to get a command, and the XO is going to get a command. And I forgot to remove the 3rd platoon's command a minute ago when it ordered that rifle grenade attack. Okay. The first sergeant is going to take advantage of his commands, and he's going to go ahead and order a shift fire. If you remember from the last turn, the 50 cal that the first sergeant is with in the second story ended up firing on the 1-1. We're going to go ahead and order a shift fire and get him firing over the heads of this squad and into the squad sitting here in the farm. So again, the heavy machine gun, the 50 cal, because it's on a tripod, is allowed to fire over the heads of friendly troops as long as it's at an elevation higher. And since it's in that upper story, it is one elevation higher than the orchard and can fire over to attack that. So we're going to use one command for the first sergeant to order that. So that's going to cause a shift in the PDF. We're no longer under heavy weapons on the hedgerow. We're now just under automatic weapons. We are going to place heavy weapons VOF on the farm. And we also get a crossfire marker now because we have fire coming in from 2 directions. So that's a pretty big bump on the amount of firepower against the farm up here. So that's the first sergeant. Now the first sergeant's going to go ahead and order the 50 cal to attempt a concentrate fire. So that's going to be a draw of 2 cards plus 1 for being on the tripod. So that's going to be a draw of 3 cards. So 1, 2, and 3. So we did get the concentrate fire marker. Go and place that. And that's going to be it for the first sergeant. So the first sergeant uses his one activated command as well as one of his saved commands. Okay. The XO is not going to use any commands this turn, so we'll just bank the extra command for the XO. That is the end of our command initiative phase. We'll go ahead and now draw for the general initiative phase. And we get a draw of 2 for the general initiative. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get the litter team that's under fire from this top left bunker. We're going to go ahead and retreat the litter team and move it back with the XO. So that's going to be one of our 2 initiative commands. So the litter team is going to fall back under the cover with the XO. He does get an exposed marker, but he's now under cover with the rest of that group. We'll see why that's such a useful move in a minute. And then the second attempt we're going to do is we're going to take the first to the second platoon and we're going to attempt to find cover for that unit. So that's going to be a draw of 3 cards. There's 1, 2, and 3. And we do get the cover marker. So we'll go ahead and place a cover marker on. And again, that's just rural terrain, so we don't get the draw for a building there. We just get the +1 terrain marker for that. So a little bonus. The problem with that move is that the act of seeking cover actually ends up placing a exposed marker on the squad. So in a sense, for this turn, I ended up actually hurting the squad because the exposed is going to give me a -2 and the cover is a +1. So I'm actually going to suffer a little bit on this first turn with this because that cover marker is actually costing me a little bit to find it. Okay, so that's the end of the initiative phase. It's now time to move on to the enemy activities. So we're going to start by doing the enemy HQ event check. And we get a shuffle deck card. And we'll draw for the HQ. And we do not get an enemy HQ event this turn. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the deck, and we'll come back with the rest of the turn. All right, we're going to go ahead and start our enemy activity checks now. We have 5 cards with enemies on them. I'm just going to label them 1 through 5, left to right, and we'll draw randomly to figure out which one we do first. And we drew a 5, so a 5 means we're going to start with the orchard over on the right side. That squad is currently placed to PDF, but is not under fire itself. So looking at the activity chart, we see that that means that that's going to be an automatic concentrate fire attempt. So we'll draw 2 cards for the concentrate fire. And we do get a concentrate fire marker. So we'll place that on the cover marker. We'll now draw a random 4 for the remaining 4 cards. And here we get a 3. So a 3 is going to be our cemetery, our light machine gun that's up in that cemetery. Same deal for him. He's currently got a PDF placed but is not under fire himself, so he's automatically going to attempt to concentrate fire. So we'll draw 2 cards for that. And we do not get a result on that. We now have 3 enemies remaining. We'll go ahead and draw a random 3. And we get the 3, so that's going to be our bunker. We'll go ahead and do the heavy machine gun first. So in here we've got both units, the bunker and the HMG and the squad there are both sitting there under fire with a PDF of a direction other than the direction they're firing. They're getting fire currently from this unit, so they're going to draw on a random 4, starting with the HMG. So the HMG draws a 2. That's going to be a concentrate fire attempt. The HMG is on the HMG is on a tripod, so it's going to get 3 cards instead of 2 for that draw. So 1, 2, and 3, and he gets a concentrate fire as well. Remember, concentrate fires can stack, so we'll have a second concentrate fire marker on that. All right, we just have a couple of units left to deal with. Okay, we'll go ahead and draw a random 2 to determine whether we're going to do the bunker or the farm next. And on our random 2, we get a 2, so we'll deal with the farm. Okay, because that unit in the farm is pinned, we're going to look that up on the lat and pinned activity check hierarchy. And again, we'll work our way down. It's not on a US occupied card. It is undercover, so we're going to come down here and we see a 1 to 2 is going to be a no action, a 3 is going to be a rally, and a 4 is going to be a fallback. So we'll go ahead and see what the result of that is going to be. And on that 4 we draw a 2, and so that is going to be a no action for that squad. And finally, we're going to deal with our bunker, and this will demonstrate the reason why I pulled back that litter team. Right now the bunker is, if we look down our chart, it is currently not under fire and no line of sight to a US unit. We're going to remove the unit and place a PC marker. So we get to go ahead and pull the unit off of this card altogether. Now, while it does say to place a PC marker, there is actually no point, because a PC marker would only ever get revealed if I were to put a friendly unit on that card. But because that card is off to the left side of my left boundary, I will never be able to put a unit on there. And so the short version is that that unit simply melts away into the woods, and I don't have to deal with that bunker anymore. We'll leave the bunker there just in case we place another unit in the future. It's probably going to take advantage of that great cover, but there won't be any more units there for some time. Yeah, I just realized I got a little bit of cleanup to do back here from ages ago. And now we're ready to move on to the next phase. Okay, neither side is ready to do any mutual captures or retreats at this point. We don't have any mutual vehicle or aircraft phase, so we're going to go straight into the mutual combat phase. And the first thing we're going to do is deal with 371A, And that means we're going to go ahead and remove the incoming markers. Okay. We did not land on any new potential contact markers this turn, so we don't need to evaluate any potential contact markers. So we go ahead and move straight into the combat effects segment. And again, I like starting with the Germans, so we will start up in the farm and see how we do up against the farm. So, firing against the German squad, we have -3 for heavy weapons, another -1 for crossfire, a -1 for concentrate fire, and a -1 for the grenade miss. That's all in our favor, so that's a total of a -6. We have +2 for the terrain, another +2 for the trenches, and a +1 for being pinned. So that's a +5 net. So -6 + 5 means we have a -1 net combat modifier. Okay, so we'll go ahead and draw for the -1 net combat modifier. And a -1 net combat modifier is a hit. So now we'll draw for the hit result. Oops, we get a shuffle. And we get a single casualty step. So a single C step on that unit. So we'll go ahead and flip the marker over to its 2-step side, and we'll place the casualty marker underneath it. And that's combat on that card. And we'll go ahead and take care of our shuffle now. Okay, as we swing over to the bunker, the first thing I realize is that I left a concentrate fire marker on from the previous turn from the 50 cal. We didn't do a concentrate fire against the bunker this turn, so I'll just remove that now. So we need to go and calculate the volume of fire going into the bunker. Neither unit is pinned, so we have a +2 for the card, another +2 for the fire being all pinned, and +3 for the bunker itself. So that is a +7. The maximum you can get is a +6. So we're going to draw a +6. We'll start with the HMG. And not surprising, a +6 is a miss. And for the squad, +6 is a miss. So not a real shock. We'll go ahead and move now down to dealing with our Americans. So we'll start with the 2 lats that are sitting in the hedgerow. They're still taking quite a beating. We have a paralyzed team and a litter team. We'll go ahead and do them in that order. So we have -1 VOF for the automatic weapons, another -1 for crossfire, and 2 concentrate fire markers. So that's going to be a -4. To the plus side, we have +2 for the terrain, +1 for the cover, and +1 for being pinned. So we actually have a 0 net combat modifier there. So we'll draw on the 0 chart. For the paralyzed, we get a miss, and that's going to remove the pinned marker for the paralyzed unit. And for the litter team, we also get a miss, so we actually remove the pinned marker for both of those units for the next turn. Those come off immediately. Moving next to the 2nd Platoon squad sitting in the orchard and under fire from the cemetery. Here we have a -1 for automatic weapons fire, a -2 for being exposed. Remember, we got the exposed marker for seeking cover, so that's a -3. We have +1 for the orchard, +1 for cover, and +1 for being pinned. So that's a total of 0 net combat modifier. And a 0 is going to be another pin. They already are, so nothing changes for them. Now we'll go ahead and move over to our big 3rd platoon stack here. Luckily, the squad firing at it is all pinned, so that's going to be a VOF of all pinned, +2, +1 for cover. So that's a net of +5 VOF we'll go ahead and go in the order HQ, second squad, third squad, then third weapons. So for HQ, +5 is a miss. Second squad, +5 is a miss. Third squad, +5 is a pin. Pull that pin marker out. And then finally for the weapons team, +5 is a miss. So the net result here is that third squad is going to end up pinned. Third squad fired that rifle grenade, so we're going to eliminate that. And everyone else just stays undercover the way they were. That is all the combat for turn number 5. We'll go ahead and clean up the board. Remove all of the concentrate fires, the grenades, any exposed markers, make sure you pull out your roster, mark off all the ammunition that was used. You saw me remove the rifle grenade from 3rd Platoon's 3rd Squad. Make sure you keep track of all that every turn so that you know when units run out, because it does change the game when they run out of ammunition. And with that, we are done with turn number 5.